Okay, guys, just a little update on this EA thing. It's had me mental. So let's roll the intro and I'll tell you.
Matron, take them away.
Warm welcome to one and all. If you've been watching this little series of videos about coding without any knowledge, you'll see that I'm sort of going down a rabbit hole that I didn't expect. Now, for those of you who've never seen me before, I'm Big Scruff. And I do like a coffee. And I need a coffee because we all know Scruffy likes a coffee. And this is the only sanity I've had doing this bloody thing. Now, you can scoot round YouTube and you'll see 101 different people saying, oh, I plugged into ChatGPT and it gave me a strategy and it coded it and it made me a gazillion. And now I sell it because Brad made £800 last week using a system that I invented. No, he didn't, because fucking Brad, when you look at him, looks fucking identical to you and is probably your brother. And the last time you did it, it was a fucking actor. Because it was on Fiverr. So, let us see if it's right. Now, the one that sparked my interest was the one that said, I made an EA in 7 minutes. And it crawled and it started making a gazillion. I started this 2 weeks ago because I was requested it. And I had a look around, and then about a week ago I got into it. I'm going to show you part of the code and where I'm up to. Now, each time I go into a code, it creates an error. And that error then needs to be corrected. So it'll be like version 1. And then I'll have an error after error after error. And I'll have to spend God knows how many hours trying to fix the errors. Sometimes it fixes it within 2 or 3. Sometimes it takes 10, 20 times to revise. Wait till you see how many versions of the strategy I've had to change and bugger up. So each version has had errors in it. So there's like between 3 and 30 error corrections for each phase I've done. Let me explain. If I flash this over, this is like the code. This is the editor. I'm up to 1,684 versions of a strategy. And does it work? Does it buggery? It has had my head smashed. But I was having a little chat today. And it was a nice chat. And I'm going to take my little hat off and give a salute to David. Because he gave me a light bulb moment. And that light bulb moment was, why don't you just tell it to do a certain task? And this is also to Alex in the group, who also said this, build it up in building blocks. Because what I figured out when I was doing this was, okay, you can debug it with the end, and let me just take you through it. I've actually got one running, and it's running now, and it's running across a few platforms. So we bring this in. It's on a paper trading account because there's no way I'm letting this loose on my account. It'll bankrupt me in a week. What it's doing is, you can see it down here. So there is the task. So what I'll do is I'll tell it to go onto this one here. Okay. Because it's running the one prior, which is version 16.8.3. Okay. So what I'm going to do is you drag it onto here. Okay. Now, actually, before I do that, I'm going to explain what I'm doing. First of all, we're going to look at the daily chart. You can see there it's above the moving average. Then we're going to look at the hourly chart. You can see it's below the moving average with an RSI pushing up. Okay. Just for what I'm trying to do, I'm going to assume that it's a selling market because they're out of whack, but the price is below the moving average, and this thing will now execute the sells for me. It won't work the trend out because it couldn't do it. It was too much for it, the way that I work things. Now, what it also did, because this is sort of a version running up here, the bloody thing rattled away and started opening up multiple trades. All right, so this is why we've gone from version 1683 into 1684, because I don't want it to open up lots of trades. That was supposed to open up 2 trades, and it's opened up God knows how many. Now, fortunately, we might have that right, and away it goes. Now, so what we do, you get hold of it, you drag it onto the chart, and it's going to tell me, do I want to stop the 683 and replace it with this? Well, the answer is yes. It's now giving me some inputs to put in. So, position size £1. We're going to place a stop, we'll say 200 points. And it's going to open up 2 trades at once. Now we're going to have one at 10 and one at 200. And then it's looking at various things, but I'm going to tell it to sell. Now I'm going to change that so I can do that nice and quick as well. Click OK. And it'll have a little bit of a think about it. And it's now running. It's telling me the AA is running. It is the 1684 version. And it's going to look to sell. Okay. I can drop it into 5 minutes because that's what its target profile is. And then we'll just watch to see if this comes in. So I'm happy with that. So that's running 1684. This is running 1684. These two are running older versions. This one's 683. This one's 1683. And what I've been doing is I'm testing them to see if they work. If they don't, they get binned. I revise the strategy and then come back into it. But what I'm essentially trying to do is work my way through it till it gets pretty robust. Now, when you're writing your code, you just click that button and you change your codes there and you move. Now, I'm up to 1684, so that can go and that can go when I finish the test. And then we're talking to the bloody thing, which is this here. And I started it down here and I've gone through various communications because one thing I figured out was it does get a bit upset at times. And again, it's a little salute to you, David, my friend. You're right, it does become a petulant child. Doesn't like being told what to do. But we go through coding after coding, go through the error logs. What are you doing? Please go back, look at this. Let's debug it. And this just goes on and on and on. And as you can see, it's just constantly going. Now, I did have some people mention to me that, oh, you're using 3.5, you should be using 4. Well, there is a work around this. If you go to this one, Copilot, it operates on 4. So what I was actually doing was finding out, and as you can see, there's a list of things down here for debugging. When I find a bug, I ask this one to tell me where the bug is, how to fix it. Then I take it back to chat and tell GT to code it, because this is very good at figuring out what's wrong with it. GT is actually very good at writing the code if it knows what it's asked for. And then when the two of them couldn't figure it out, I actually went to this one, which is, well, it's called Gemini now, Bard. And I got this one to start debugging it as well. So collectively, I'm kind of making the best of both worlds by inputting mine, having something that can code it, but also have something that tells me that what I'm doing is actually quite right. And between the three of them, I'm kind of getting there. Now, is it working very well? Sort of. Let me flick that back over. I'm just going to widen this out a little bit to show you. What we can see with this is it just rattled all of these off. It actually blew my mind. I was like, oh, for Christ's sake, what are you doing? This is mental. And as you see, and I had this problem the other day where it just absolutely went nuts, and it was opening. It just went bananas. So what I've done now is I've coded it so it can only be allowed to open up 2 trades. And that's it. Now, it might open up 2 trades, think 5 minutes, open up another 2 trades. So I might have to put another cap into this. And that cap will be, I can only have maybe 4 positions running at any one time. I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, that's the opening criteria. It's not opening anything more. And I'll expect that to slam through and then come up into these targets. If it does, boom shanga. But at the moment, it's gone a bit tits up. So the journey continues. I'm going to work on it across the weekend while we're having a bit of time off, and I'll come back to it periodically. And I'll give you my breakdown on how I think this is operating. Now, at the moment, the strategy is very simple. What I've done is I'll work out the direction, what it's doing, and I'll figure it out so that it'll run for as long as I want it to run. So in other words, I'll go, right, I want this to go for a session. I've decided what it is, press the button, and now all it has to do is find the entries, enter and execute the trades with the profit that I'm after. And then I can just do other things. So it's a bit of me and it's a bit of it. Best of both worlds. But we shall see. And if I can get this bit working, who knows, I might be able to get it to automate the next bit, which is actually do the trend and direction for me, because at the moment it's struggling. So for this idea of I can trade in 7 minutes and make a gazillion, fuck off. Of course you can't. Jesus Christ, I've done this nearly 2 decades now, and I'm telling you straight, you will not learn to trade in 7 minutes. And if you think you are, well, good luck with that one. As always, guys, trade well, keep your risk managed, but above all, do what you love, and the money will follow. See you all in the next one.